This week's tip of the week is about becoming who you already are. This is about imposter syndrome, where we have feelings that we're an imposter. We feel like we don't belong. And many times, especially high performers, we underestimate our own competence. Whether we have new roles or new expectations, maybe there's a new leader coming in, and we have self doubt. And you always get into trouble when you do this, but you compare yourself, sort of how you feel behind the scenes, to others' highlight reels, how they look and perceive on the outside. And then there's this just intense fear of being found out, that maybe I'm not good enough or I don't know what I'm talking about. And it makes it even worse when you don't get feedback, because then there's uncertainty and maybe they think I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And, work's just so busy that you feel like you're catching up and you're always racing around. And it's very common to have these imposter thoughts. And the goal really isn't to eliminate them, it really is to manage them. And look, I've been in business for 30 years, and oftentimes I still feel like, maybe I'm not smart enough, maybe I don't belong. But the key is reframing the narrative. It's perfectly fine to say you don't know something. In fact, I think it's fantastic to say you don't know something, way better than making something up or fumbling around, right? Because then I think that's even worse, because then you lose credibility. So you can say, look, I'm going to learn at the right pace. I'm going to learn something I don't know. Then the confidence follows the action, not the other way around. And so the more you do things, the more confident you get with them. And the expertise is built over time. It's built through iteration, not arrival. You don't just show up and you have this information. You have to deliberately go out there and build that expertise and build that confidence. And so you want to shift your mindset from thinking about I need to prove myself into I need to contribute value and figure out who my customer is and how I can provide value to them. And mistakes are fine. It's just data. It's input into learning about yourself and building your confidence. In fact, we learn the most when we make mistakes. And so it really is the best learning opportunity. And when start swirling in your brain and you're exaggerating things or making things out to be worse than what they are, you've got to step back and sort of pause and take a moment and reframe that self-doubt. It really is a sign of growth. And as I mentioned, a lot of that is building the evidence you can trust. So that confidence that follows action, as mentioned before. And so maybe one way to do that is to create a log of some of your wins, so that you don't get that selective memory when you just remember the failures. Ask for feedback instead of just waiting. A lot of times people don't give feedback in today's culture, and so you really have to solicit it. And you want to track the progress over time to look for patterns, celebrate those small wins as you get them. And when you have challenges, document them, write them down. What did you do? What are some of the strengths that you are posing that other people point out or that you consistently demonstrate? Peer conversations is important. You want to sort of relate to others, share some of your struggles, and build that personal narrative. But it's built on real accomplishments, and that's where the confidence comes from, small or big wins. And so it's really the behaviors that are going to reduce those feelings. And so you want to be intentional, not sort of obsess over your failures, which is really hard to do. I am very frequently or constantly reassessing things and obsessing over my failures, so I should follow my own medicine. But speaking up early instead of waiting for perfect clarity. And again, it's perfectly fine to say, I don't know yet, I'll find out. But you want to set realistic expectations for yourself and surround yourself with people who are going to challenge and support you. And think about looking at your routines for ways that reinforce the confidence, whether it's writing things down or taking notes. I have a OneNote page where I constantly am putting key accomplishments. So at the end of the year or during performance reviews, I can go back and reference it, because I will forget over the year. And give yourself compassion. Be empathetic towards yourself, the same way you would for a teammate. So, look, imposter feelings are normal, especially given how complex today's working environment is. You're not going to know everything, you're not going to be an expert in everything, and view it as a growth opportunity. And the way you do that is reframe those internal thoughts so that you're building resilience, that you're building the confidence, and you have the evidence, which is way more durable than fake it till you make it. I hate that, because then that's not being genuine to yourself. What is being genuine is building those small wins, building that confidence, having that evidence to substantiate it. And look, you don't need to feel confident to act confident. So we all know plenty of coworkers who are incredibly confident in their incompetence, right? And they don't know what they're talking about, but they say it real confidently. And so that seems to be a tactic that works for some. But own your story. And the goal is you don't want to say, do I belong here? You want to move more towards, look, I'm learning, I'm contributing, and I'm growing. And hopefully you learned something from this video. Thanks for watching.